Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the WTM Sports Gaming. If you haven't subscribed already, do the subscribe button and the like button. Massive shout out to our new subscribers. Um, it's always good to know that we're supported. It's always good to have your love in the room. So the conversation tonight I'll be talking about is where's the next pay-per-view star coming from in the UK? It's been a concern of mine for a number of years because to me on Sky Sports, and I have to use Sky Sports because that's the main machine in the UK when it comes to us seeing UK fighters. Yes, there's BT Sports, but Sky Sports, because they've got you know a lot of viewership. I'm not saying BT Sports doesn't have a lot of viewership, but when you come to British fighters and pay-per-view stars and all the rest of it, you would have thought Sky Sports would be the one that people look at a lot more. Yes, Hamza, great seeing the room. Great, Ruben, great seeing the room. So I hope you all can hear me clearly when I'm doing this video. I've upgraded the microphone on my laptop. I've got a brand new laptop here, actually. It's an Honor laptop. So it's a new laptop. It's a lot smaller than the one I had before. So I just upgraded the driver on it. So I hope you can hear me clearly. If you can't hear me, let me know you can't hear me clearly. So like I say, so Sky Sports is the main one. You know who the promoter is. So I want to talk a lot about the format. Yeah, Grant's well and all is well. Thank you, Kenny. I want to talk about the format in terms of my knowledge of the format, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But I want to talk about the format of boxing in the UK, particularly the format on Sky Sports. Uh, and the era we had pre-lockdown, and don't take Anthony Joshua out of the equation for 1 second, please, because Anthony Joshua, once he won the Olympic gold medal, I mean, he was going to be pay-per-view, a heavyweight. He was going to be pay-per-view anyway. So even I could build a pay-per-view out of that guy. So let's put that to one side. I'm talking about other guys who may not have won Olympic gold medals, who may just won um, Box Cup or ABA championships. Those type of guys I'm talking about who didn't have a great amateur record but have been household names. I don't know if Kell Brook had a great amateur pedigree. We know that Amir Khan had a silver medal, and Frank Warren even got him to fight Kinderland again. In that, remember he did that fight where he wanted to get revenge for Kinderland. I'd never seen something like that before, but Warren got that sorted, and the rest of history. But anyway, but we also know Olympic gold medalists that didn't do so well. Audley Harrison, but again, I think that's down more to Audley himself in that situation. But what I really want to go into today is the pay-per-view model. Now, from what I see, a guy turns pro and he fights on these next-gen shows. I've got a real problem with the next-gen shows because, first of all, what is a pay-per-view star? Mayweather, Pacquiao, I consider that pay-per-view. And I consider that pay-per-view in any country of the world, that is pay-per-view. We have two Hall of Famers. Two Hall of Famers, without a doubt. You can't question Pacquiao's legacy. You can't question Mayweather's legacy. Those who don't know their boxing, or those who want to hate, or those who've got are colorblind and want to be racial, yeah, they'll pick these two guys apart when they want to. But if you pick these two guys apart, I want to know who you're going to put in front of these guys to pick them apart, and don't go into past and start talking about Hagler and Hearns and Leonard. I'm talking about your current era of guys, because the same people that will pick Pacquiao and Mayweather apart are the same people that are going to jump on the bandwagon of Golovkin. The other guy I think that should be in that same category, I have to say, people are not going to like me for saying it, but Canelo. I think Canelo is on the same pay-per-view. He's paid his dues. You look at Canelo's record and you look at the guys he's fought, Canelo. Regardless if you think that he may have lost a fight here or there and had some dodgy decisions here or there, you've got to say to yourself, this guy here, Canelo, Pacquiao, Mayweather, these guys are what I call global pay-per-view stars. They fought the best. We could say, oh well, you could fight Charlo. He's went and fought GGG, right? And there's a whole heap of other guys that Canelo fought. Cotto, so we could go on and on. Because when his past is best, and he still has got in the ring and fought Shane Mosley. And all these guys are going to be Hall of Fame fighters. So I put Canelo in that category as well. When I look at pay-per-view. So when I look at pay-per-view, I'm looking at resume. Who they fought, who they beat. Legacy. How long have they been around? Pay-per-view star, a guy who's been around a while. Do you understand? Not flash in the pan 1 year champion. I'm talking about long reigning champions or guys who've been at the top for a good time. 5 to 10 years, I'm looking there, who've had good reigns as champions, or they've fought the best of the best. That's pay-per-view for me. That is pay-per-view for me. I will not accept anything else. That's pay-per-view for me. Guys who've beaten, that are champions and have beaten champions. Mayweather, Pacquiao. Those are champions. Canelo, I put him in there as well. And they're sellable. Mayweather and Pacquiao are sellable guys. Canelo is sellable to a point. Again, he chooses not to speak English, but he's sellable. He fights the best guys. He's sellable in a sense. He's a good-looking guy, sells, and he's sellable. So you those three guys there, Canelo. Then we move down to Anthony Joshua, which we've got in the UK, as people will say, yeah, he's a superstar. He's a pay-per-view star in the UK. Because, be honest, he went to America and he fell down 4 times in America. Not why, he got knocked down 4 times in America and he regained the title in Dubai. That's not, for me, a global superstar. The minute you leave your country, you get beat. Okay, people could say that Mayweather was not global in the sense that he didn't leave his country to go and fight anywhere else. He stayed in America, but he was making so much damn money anyway. Mayweather's a launch himself. Pacquiao's been abroad and fought abroad. I'd love to see Pacquiao fight in the UK, but again, these guys are established guys, established world champions. They've made their name in America, have done their thing. So I think these guys here are what I call superstars. Now, when we talk about global superstars, Joshua's not a global superstar. You say what you want. He's a heavyweight, and everyone should know him, but he's not global. I don't think he's global. I don't think he's global. I think he might get global, but I don't think he's global. Not when you're talking like Canelo, Pacquiao, and Mayweather. And don't bring age into it, because if you look at the resume that Joshua has, and you look at the resume that Canelo has, and I don't think Canelo's been an Olympic gold medalist. You look at the resume of Canelo and the guys Canelo's fought. Where in Joshua's resume has he fought somebody that's young, unbeaten, and a champion, and undisputed champion to that point? So you've got Canelo who's fought Hall of Famer, or you've got Golovkin there. Today you've got that right there. Where in Joshua's resume has he fought a guy like Gennady Golovkin? Where is Joshua's Gennady Golovkin? Joshua's Gennady Golovkin would have either been Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. That would have been his Gennady Golovkin. It hasn't happened yet. Don't talk about the Klitschko fight. Don't mention that. We're talking about a young guy who's hungry and has got the ability to beat him. Don't mention Joseph Parker. He came for the money. Don't talk about that. Global superstar. So let's go back to the UK. We take Joshua to one side. I've just done the Joshua thing out. So put Joshua away. So let's go down and look for pay-per-view stars in the UK. Okay. You could say Amir Khan. I get it. Amir Khan, yeah. But against the very, very best, Khan has come up short against the very best. He got beat by Prescott. He got beat by Garcia, who's lucky not to get knocked out by Maidana. He got flattened by Canelo. I mean, he's got heart. He's got guts. He fights the best. Yeah, I understand why he would be pay-per-view. I get that. If you look at his resume and the guys he's fought, sure, okay, I get that. So he's paid his dues in that sense, and yeah, he should be pay-per-view, and I get that. But we're looking to the future. I want to go back to this next-gen thing. So I've given you my layout as to what I see as pay-per-view. That's a genuine pay-per-view star. I know people will jump out and say about Dillian Whyte, and I will say to you, Dillian Whyte, with all due respect, he has fought. He's fought in the top 10 consistently, but he's not a world champion. One, and he's not known really outside of the UK. So he's pay-per-view UK, but when you're talking global, he's not. And he needs to expand his market by going to America and fighting in America. I do believe that. And I believe if he goes, he's fought in America before, we know that. I think there are about 10 people watching. I'm not being disrespectful. That's what it was. I'd love to see Dillian Whyte fight in America, in a showcase fight in America. He needs a showcase fight in America. The Americans need to know what all the fuss is about Dillian Whyte. Because as far as they're concerned, it's a guy in England. You know, they know Tyson Fury because of the fights Fury's had in America, plus the Deontay Wilder fight. They know Anthony Joshua for the big Brit that came over and got his ass kicked by the fat boy. That's how they know Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte, they just know as the guy that got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. That's it. With all due respect, that's how they all compute it as. Oh, he's the guy that got beat by Anthony Joshua. They all talk about all the stuff that Dillian Whyte's done to improve, how he's changed trainers, how he's become a better fighter. He's now fighting Povetkin. He's beaten Parker. He's done this. He's done that. They won't talk about those things. They'll just talk about the Joshua thing. Unless he goes to America, he does one of two things. He beats Anthony Joshua. He goes up to America and he beats a top-ranked American. If he went over and beat Andy Ruiz, that would be a big statement. If you went over to Andy Ruiz and dusted up Andy Ruiz, that'd be a big statement. If you went over to America and he beat Luis Ortiz, it makes some sort of a statement. But he's been already dashed up twice by Wilder. If you went over to America and he beat, I don't know, even if he went over to America and he went and fought before Wilder knocked him out around, he went and fought what's this guy? Not Washington, the other guy, Dominic Brazil. If he even got over to America and fought Dominic Brazil, if he goes over to America and fights Jarrell Miller, I think those kind of like a Jarrell Miller fight in America would be hot. It would be hot, and the Americans would love it. And Miller will talk his crap, and you know, that's the kind of fight that Whyte needs. He needs that kind of fight. He don't need a Povetkin fight. A Povetkin fight does not make you a pay-per-view star. But I believe if he went and fought the Miller fight and he won the Miller fight, it would make him a pay-per-view star in America. Why? Because you've got a guy who's got a big mouth in Miller. Miller's got a background in you know, he's got the mixed martial arts background. He's starting to make a bit of noise in America. He's got a big mouth. He's loud. He's boisterous. And he's going to bring something there. So I think him fighting Miller, because Miller, now forget Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter is a bad fight for. You got to think business-wise. Michael Hunter is not a good fight for Dillian Whyte. It's not a good fight for Dillian Whyte stylistically. It's not a good fight for, because no disrespect to Hunter, but Hunter doesn't bring with you the talk. Hunter's a very quiet guy. He's a more introverted guy. You need a guy who's going to come out. If you're selling pay-per-view, we're talking business here. Business. The business of boxing and pay-per-view. And Whyte versus Miller in America, in New York, Madison Square Garden, let's make it happen. Or Las Vegas, that's a main event. That's pay-per-view. That's Dillian Whyte's coming out party. That's how I'd cap that fight in America. And that's how he becomes a superstar in America, or pay-per-view star in America. He cracks it. He does better than what Fury does, because Fury went and fought 2 European guys. He fought 2 European guys, but the Americans accepted it. Yeah, so Miller and Wilder, they're the 2 fights that are great for Whyte. He needs that sort of fight. Forget Povetkin. Povetkin is not the way. Povetkin might be out for pay-per-view in the UK. Who cares about Povetkin? You beat Povetkin. Who cares? Klitschko beat him. And what's his name beat him? Klitschko beat him, and Joshua beat him. What are you fighting Povetkin for? I'm talking business in America. Forget the UK market. You're a pay-per-view star in the UK. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. To be global, right? You fight Miller. People say, well, who's fought Miller fought and who's Miller beat? Don't care about that. I'm talking about the fact you're getting a guy there who's unbeaten, big mouth, comes to fight, and he's going to make a big press conference. He's going to make a big explosion in a press conference. And could you imagine Miller coming forward to and pushing someone like Dillian White as opposed to pushing someone like Anthony Joshua? You're talking about two different situations there. That would make a great fight. You know what I mean? So he needs that. So you're seeing it yourself. Even me just talking to you, Miller, White, you're already licking your lips. That's a fight you want to see. That's a fight you want to see. Why did Chisora versus White? Why was that such a big fight? Because Chisora was talking, and you saw the table getting flipped, and him and Chisora rolling around on the floor. Yeah, fans want that, and he had the fight as well, which was explosive. The first one was explosive. The second one, well, they respected one another, and by that point in time, White had improved so much. I thought that he was going to KO Chisora, which he did, and a much better fighter now he is, Dillian White. So that I look at that. I'm talking about the business of boxing. I'm always looking at the business of boxing. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, another guy who I thought would have been pay-per-view in America was David Haye. I felt that David Haye missed a bit there. David Haye, I thought, had a great opportunity to. It would have been great if David Haye signed with Al Heyman. I would love to see Haye sign with Al Heyman and fight in Las Vegas or fight in New York in a big bill. That's a real missing there. I would love to see Haye fight in America because I think he could have pulled it off. Good looking guy, you know. He's a good looking guy. He's charismatic. He can punch really hard. Do you know what I mean? He knows how to sell a fight. Yeah, he looks sharp. The girls will love him. So you've got the female audience there going for that as well. You know what I mean? Haye can sell a fight. He could sell a fight. Do you understand? So Haye would have been, for me, big time. He was built for pay-per-view. Do you understand? That's what I'm talking about. Haye had it to be a global superstar. He had it. He decided to run into the Tony Bellew. Anyway, so let's get into this back to this UK stuff. So the next gen. Let me ask you. So I've just told you. I've just given you my idea what pay-per-view is, and how to capture the imagination of the world, not just the UK fans. Or as my good friend 78 Sports TV love to say, is the Dart Chuckers. Now, let's talk about this next gen business. So a guy fights he turns pro, he fights his next gen bills. I'm asking a question as a broadcaster. How many of these guys that you've earmarked, that you've signed, how many of these guys from the UK can actually go on to A, win a British title, a European title, and most importantly, a world title? And at that point, how many of these guys who win a world title can actually go on hold those belts and actually make defenses against the top fighters? And how long is that going to take? And how are you going to go about it? The pay-per-view model I've seen in the UK so far, or the failed pay-per-view model I've seen in the UK, is they fight on these next-gen bills. You build them up a bit. They fight like guys that, have got one arm and one leg, right? And then what they do is, from fighting one arm and one leg, this guy, he's world class. When's he going to fight for a world title? The guy's got one arm and one leg, yeah? And then they say, he needs to have a step up fight. And when he's had that step up fight, then he's going to have a world title fight. So then you stick him in with a guy who's got two hands and two legs and he gets beat. Why? Because you didn't build him up properly. So for next gen, or you get a guy who is already a world champion, or he's got the ability to stick around and make some good defense of his world title. What do? You stick him, you throw him up in you stick him up to two push him up into two world weight classes and get him smashed to bits. So all the next gen fighters, as I've said, have failed. because of bad management, poor management, and not knowing a clue what you're doing in boxing. You got no clue, right? So you're looking for your next pay-per-view star. And I know you keep running about Buatsi and Okoli, but under the current model, they are going to go the same way. They threw Joshua under the bridge, under the truck. They threw him under the truck. They threw Kell Brook under the truck. You name it, they threw Cal Yafai under the truck just for that money. So what are you doing to build your next pay-per-view star? Well, first of all, you need to give them some personality. Yeah. So having a media trade doesn't work. They have to have their own personality. Remember Ben? Look at what we had back in the day. Ben, Eubank, Jimmy, Watson, Collins, Reed, Woodhall, Kawasaki, Froch. We had a multitude of fighters that were between middle and super middle. Right? They all had their own unique personalities. We got to know each one of those fighters, and they fought the best. They all, in one way or another, got round to fighting the best. I don't care what you tell me about Lawrence Okoli. I told you what's going to happen to Lawrence Okoli, but again, Ruben, you don't listen, so you have to learn. You have to listen. You have to learn. Who has Lawrence Okoli fought and beat that you could turn around and say, yeah? The guy fought the last guy that popped him with a good shot. It looked like he looked concerned. I told you, Lawrence Okoli is the new Henry Akinwande. I keep saying it. Go look at. I'm not disrespecting Lawrence Okoli because Henry Akinwande was a world champion, but you've got to look at styles. Can you see Lawrence Okoli in the cruiserweight division hanging around and beating the likes of Bradis? And could you see him beat Gassio? Okay. Can you see him beat Dortigus? So these are guys. Can you see him beating those guys? If you can't see him beating those guys, then I don't know what kind of champion he's going to be. I don't know what kind of champion he's going to be because these are the guys you seriously got to look at, and those are the guys you have to beat to become a pay-per-view star. You don't become a pay-per-view star beating nobody. You've got to fight the best. And I just don't see it so far under the current setup that Okoli's got. He's going to do those things. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't see it. Same with Buatsi. I don't see it. What gives you the You've got what is it about these two guys that gives you such confidence? Tell me what it is, Ruben. What it is these two guys you think are going to be pay-per-view stars? I don't mean forced pay-per-view stars. I mean who they fought and who they beat for you to have such confidence. And the guys that they've beat, how many of those guys could go on and become world champions? Question. I'll leave that for Ruben to answer. Okoli's boring though. They can be pay-per-view in UK. Now, I don't think you're listening to me. I asked the question, global superstar. I didn't say pay-per-view because let's be honest, Frankie Gavin and Kell Brook was pay-per-view. Pay-per-view has been, the levels of pay-per-view have become so disgusting in the UK. It is unbelievable. Disgusting. Kell Brook versus Frankie Gavin. How is that pay-per-view? Please tell me. How can you say somebody's? How can you say somebody is not suited to the USA? They're not pay-per-view. They're not pay-per-view for me. I think Dillian White would do well in America. I think you know who Dillian White reminds me of in some way. Dillian White kind of reminds me of Donovan Razor Roddick. You know what I mean? Roddick was dangerous. He could fight. He could punch. Do you understand? He had that big punch, which was his left hand. He was also Jamaican, rough, rugged, and he was a likable kind of guy in his own way. Donovan Razor Roddick. But Roddick never became a world champion. Remember that. In all the fights he had with Mike Tyson and Dokes and Morrison and even Lennox Lewis, Ruddock never became a world champion. Remember that. Okolie has a chance to become a superstar holding and clinching. Well, this is it. That's not pay-per-view. So if you're talking so you're telling me you, Ruben, would pay per view to see Lawrence Okolie fight? Is that what you're telling me? You're convincing me today that you would pay per view. Now, I've just talked about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. I've talked about Canelo to you. You would pay to see Lawrence Okolie. I'd see a fight I'd pay to see. I'd pay to see Lawrence Okolie versus Dillian Whyte. I'd pay to watch that fight. The fight between Lawrence Okolie and Chamberlain was a good fight. I thought that was a good fight. Don't know if it was pay-per-view, but there was enough hype behind it. There was enough bad blood behind it. There was a lot of bad feeling in that fight. There was some history. There was some build-up there. You understand? There were, you saw the two trainers and the two camps and on the street talk. That was good. Okolie, Docticus or Breedis, I would. You would? You cried at night. You pay. You're going to pay to cry that night. That's what I'm saying to you. Any of them two guys you talk about there, you're paying to see Okolie. You're going to cry. You will cry. You'll cry. I'm telling you. You've got, where's the next superstar coming from? Eddie got Ruben his, it must do. Totally blinded. I mean, how many more people do you have to see get KO'd to understand this game? Must be. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, who have you fought and who have you beat? Who's Buatsi beat? For all this hype, who's Buatsi beat? When I talk about Callum Johnson, I think Callum Johnson is the real McCoy because I saw what he did against Beterbiev. When I saw what he did against Beterbiev, when I seen him drop Beterbiev, and the reason why he got KO'd was because he ran out of steam. When you can drop a guy like Beterbiev, back him up and drop him and hurt him, that's a top class fighter there. And Callum Johnson was able to do that. You know what I mean? That is something. If Callum Johnson gets himself in great shape and he can fight one or two fights, I'd back him to beat Buatsi. I'd back him to beat Buatsi because the guy can punch thunderously. And I don't think that Buatsi can hold a shot from Callum Johnson. No, sir. No way. No way. At least Callum Johnson has fought. I tell you, Callum Johnson, I don't know if his attitude towards the sport or I don't fancy or he don't really want to box no more. But that guy genuinely is one of the best fighters we've got in this country. Genuinely. Kenny says, I cry just watching Okolie into the ring, knowing I have to sit through 30 minutes of crap before the next fight. Go back and watch Henry Akin one-day fights. Go back and watch Henry Akin one-day fights and tell me if I'm lying or not, if they don't fight the same similar way. Yeah? Scott Fitzgerald, I like him. I call him the British Gatti. You see, who knows him? Who knows him? Of course, Callum Johnson knocks him out right now. Who knows him? Who knows? I like Fitzgerald. If they're building with the right fights like they did with Hatton, they can make him into a star in America. And they could take him to America, right? But they have to have the right fights. Take him over to America and fight them fights in America. Yeah, he's a part of that club, just like Dillian. Yeah, there you go. But Fitzgerald's got that Gatti thing about him. I like it. He could be the British Gatti. You could do that if you built him right. You give me Scott Fitzgerald, and I will convince the British public that Fitzgerald is the new Gatti. He's the new Gatti. He looks a bit like him as well. The British Gatti. That's what I'd make him into, and that's how I would sell him. The British Gatti. The guy can fight. He can bang a punch a bit. He beat Anthony Fowler, right? And everyone was raving about Fowler this and Fowler this and Fowler that and Fowler this. Well, he did Fowler, didn't he? So that's how if I was going to build Fitzgerald, I'd build him into the British Gatti. Now you sound like Eddie with the British Gatti and the Jordan Golovkin. Yeah, but the difference between me and Eddie is I know my boxing. I know my boxing. I know my boxing. He knows his accounts. He don't know boxing. He don't know boxing. He playing boxing. He don't know boxing. He don't know boxing to the point of, like, for example, the science of putting one fighter with another fighter. Because if he understood boxing, or his matchmaker, if they understood boxing, they won't be sticking certain guys like Lewis Ritson in European fights where they're not ready for him. Or they wouldn't throw Ted Cheeseman in with guys. Cheeseman could have been the next Hatton. Cheeseman could have been the next Hatton. But you have to give these people time. You have to give them time. You know what I mean? Let him win one of these minor WBU titles and build his way up that way. You understand? So it's what it is. So I may sound like it, but I now had to build a fighter. You take him to America, you take him over to America, and you take him and fight against guys that are just past their best, faded fighters, but have got a legacy. You know, they've been former world champions. You know, they're gatekeepers. You know, fights when a guy is not a big puncher. You know, you might have a great chin, you might have a great engine. You know, might fade after 4 or 5 rounds. Fights that make Fitzgerald look good, or you bring him to America in a fight that it's a fight, it's a gamble fight. You take him over there after you've built him up to that 25 and 0, 26 and 0. You take him over to America. The Big Cheese got grated. Well, yeah, the Big Cheese got grated because he again, poor selection of opponent. Yeah, okay, you get it wrong once, twice, three. How many times did they get it wrong in that season? And these are all next. Remember, imagine if you've paid your money. You've paid your money to invest in a guy from the next gen, and you think this guy's going to go on to be a world champion. And then look at Kell Brook. Wasn't Kell Brook selling out Sheffield Arena? Wasn't he selling out the Sheffield Arena? Wasn't he a cash cow at one point? So what the hell happened? And he didn't mature. So what the hell happened? What the hell happened? And just by the way, just for 1 second, I do want to detour for 1 second before I come back to this pay-per-view model. I want to come back to something. Was it not less than a month or a month and a half ago, there was a meeting between Usyk, Eddie, and Usyk's team, and they were all smiles coming out of the room? So what happened to after Joshua beats Pulev? He's got to fight Usyk. What happened to that agreement? So what? How did we get Joshua versus Fury when Joshua hasn't even beaten Pulev and he's got Usyk next as the next fight? That was the plan, wasn't it? Joshua was going to fight Pulev, and after Pulev, he had 2 mandatories. Was that the case? So, Hamid in today's boxing would have been epic to see. Yeah, you wouldn't have got after fights with Hamid because Warren did a good job with Hamid. Things like Boom Boom Johnson, and what's it? See, Hamid's career would have been ruined under Matchroom. Ruined. Because they would have stuck him in. They would have gave him. He would have fought someone like Billy Hardy one night, and let's right. We're gonna stick Hamid in next fight. Who's he gonna fight next? Yeah, we're gonna stick Hamid in with Eric Morales. Yeah, next fight. What? Yeah, daring to be great. It's a real step up fight for Hamid now. We know it's a big fight for him. If he wins this fight, the world is always doing it. If he wins this fight, that's what happened. They would have destroyed Hamid. They would have destroyed Hamid. Don't even mention about Hamid being in this world. In this world, if he was under probably someone like depending on who his management was or his team was, if it was under Matchroom, he would not have been. He would not have been a superstar. He would not have been the guy. You got to think about Hamid. Hamid had it all. He had punch power. He had personality. He had charisma, and he could fight. He had all the he ticked all the boxes, and he said what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted. So Hamid wasn't media trained. Forget Hamid being media trained. Eubank Jr. Could he pull it off? Yeah, but he is a problem, Eubank Jr. because first of all, he's got a personality. Whether you like him or you hate him, it's one of them ones. So there's not enough about Eubank Jr. yet. I think he has the model there, right? And he's lost fights at the top level. He's got to beat a marquee name. He's got to beat a marquee name that's young. He's got to beat a marquee name. Now, if he goes over to America and he does over Charlo, I think that's a good start. If he were to beat Charlo, like super middleweight, he'd have to beat Benavidez at super middle, or Caleb Plant. So Caleb Plant at super middle. That's fine. Caleb Plant and Benavidez. And I'm sorry, I don't see him beating any of those two guys. So Eubank Jr., yes, he's got something there to be worked with, but I don't know. If Eubank Jr.'s career was managed the way his father's career was managed, yeah, I think we'd have a pay-per-view star, a guaranteed genuine pay-per-view star there. Look at the format Eubank Senior had. He mugged, I think he got $1 million for it. He mugged off the British fans, fighting a whole bunch of. He was on the road traveling on his world tour, fighting guys you never heard of, you never cared about. Ray Close and bloody the Postman, Tony Thornton. Do you remember them nights? They were fun though, because people love Eubank. People love to see Eubank posing, and doing all that strutting around the ring. Eubank was a showman. You paid to see Eubank be a showman. You didn't really pay to see Eubank box. You came to see Eubank be a showman. That's what you came to see for Eubank. Eubank was an entertainer. Then you came to see knockouts and fight, and people get knocked out. Eubank isn't best in them. He's just like Emir Khan. Top fights, he comes up short. Well, there we go. So when we're looking for the next pay-per-view star, who's the next pay-per-view star? Okay, let's talk about Taylor, the Scottish guy. Josh Taylor. He can fight. You know what I mean? But personality, I don't know. There's not enough about Josh Taylor. He's still a bit of a mystery for me. Although he's become world champion and he's won the World Boxing Super Series. So people say, so what? Only hardcore boxing fans are going to say, yeah, Josh Taylor, good fighter. But Josh Taylor, for me, to be that superstar, he's to move to welterweight division. He'll have to move to 147, and then Josh Taylor, he'd have to fight 4 or 5 guys. I would put Josh Taylor in with Broner, Vargas, Broner, Vargas. I think who else? Be careful how we do this. Sean Porter, possibly, because Porter, for all he does, he can be outboxed, and he just comes forward, chucking punches. So Porter's an interesting fight, great fight there. And again, when we look at 147, is he physically strong enough to do 147 and be a force at 147? Mikey Garcia, yeah, definitely. I'll take the Mikey Garcia tomorrow. You give me Josh Taylor, and I'll take the Mikey Garcia fight tomorrow. Josh Taylor, Mikey Garcia, I'll take that fight. I'll take that fight in a heartbeat. Josh Taylor beats Mikey Garcia. Definitely. I take that fight without a shadow of doubt. Warrington. Yeah, Warrington is like Scott Harrison. So Warrington can fight. He can box. He's got personality for the UK. But him going to America, he has to fight in America, and he has to fight some guys to build to the Shakur Stevenson fight. Right? So that's a great fight there. Stevenson versus Warrington. Okay, you sign Yard. What? So you sign Yard. So because you sign a guy, You need to know what you're going to. Okay, you say sign Yard, but again, you're working with the same people again. They've ruined so many fighters. Ruined so many fighters. How many fighters have Matchroom ruined? Who could have been potential stars? Ritson. Let's go for him. Ritson, Cheeseman, Brooke, Defy. Who else we got? He's built a fan base. What fan base has he built? In the UK, what, Leeds United? Is that a fan base? Is Leeds United a fan base? One football team? This is not like Ricky Hatton, remember? Ricky Hatton really built a fan base. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but you're you're clutching at straws. Yard, pay-per-view. All right. Well, who's he beat? Last time we saw Anthony Yard, he was fighting in a nightclub. Yeah, he was fighting in a nightclub. How'd you jump from fighting in a nightclub to being a pay-per-view star? Is Yard good enough to even be in the pay-per-view talk? You have to build him up. So you stick him in a pay-per-view, light heavyweight. So who's he going to fight? Buatsi? Yeah, that's one. Stay away from Callum Johnson. Stay well away from Callum Johnson. Stay well away from Callum Johnson. Because that guy hits like a mule. I keep saying it to people. Beat Buatsi. Why would he be beating Buatsi? Who is Buatsi beaten? Go and look at Buatsi's last fight. He was getting tagged with overhand. People not listening to me. He was getting tagged with overhand rights by a guy we didn't even know. Global ambassador. Okay. Everyone else in that global ambassador, shout out to Babatunde Ajayi, King Babatunde Ajayi. Listen, my man's the ultimate salesman. But bottom line is, his boy still has to fight. And I love Yard. But really? You have to carry that in the ring. People don't care about what your Adidas global ambassador. You got to do it in the ring. Can he produce it in the ring? I think Yard can do it, but he jumped from where he was to Kovalev, and he almost did it. But I just feel that he was given the wrong. My personal opinion, he was given the wrong instructions at the wrong time, and I felt that he could have had a couple more fights before he fought that Kovalev fight to know he could do 12 rounds. So you talk about Yard, but let me ask you a question. What is this guy like mentally? If Yard is the guy that you're talking that Yard is, why was he fighting in a nightclub in his comeback fight? He didn't want nobody to see him fight. If he's mentally fragile, then you might never see Yard fight the same way again. Any Adidas superstar? In Adidas, the global super, I'm sure he's Adidas in it. Well, yeah, I think he's Adidas in it. I'm sure I'm right on that. I could be wrong. But yeah, what is the model for the next British pay-per-view star? I'm not hearing any British model pay-per-view stars at the moment. I'm hearing a lot of names, but I'm not hearing anybody yet who has the crossover ability to be a pay-per-view star in America, not UK, because the standards are so low in the UK for pay-per-view. So where's it coming from? Can Daniel Dubois be a pay-per-view star? If he gets flattened by Joe Joyce, no chance. They'll have to rebuild him. Would Dubois be one just down to KO excitement? Yeah, if he gets KO'd, then you can scratch him out. I've already scratched Dubois out because I think Joyce is going to KO him. So then push Dubois to one side. He's on a rebuilding cycle. Next, unless they get Joyce on points, I don't think happen. I think Dubois is going to knock Joyce out. I think Joyce is going to knock Dubois out. I really do. I think too experienced. Yeah, Yard's last opponent had 4 wins and 48 losses, and this is the guy. This is the guy that Kenny is saying to sign to be a pay-per-view star. Are you out your mind? Do you need to be able to talk to become big in the States? If you're in the UK, you damn well better be able to talk. See, Lennox Lewis. What made Lennox Lewis pay-per-view, or was he a superstar, Lennox Lewis? I would have said he was a superstar. He was consistent. He beat the top guys consistently. So he had the attributes of pay-per-view, but Lennox Lewis was no personality. You couldn't really say that Lennox Lewis was a personality. Lennox Lewis could fight. Lennox Lewis could box. Lennox Lewis ticked all the other boxes. He could box. He could fight. You know, he was consistently good at the top. He wasn't. Lennox wasn't an entertainer. You didn't tune in to see a Lennox Lewis fight for entertainment purposes. It was what whoever else was bringing the entertainment. The Shannon Briggs fight was because Shannon Briggs brought the entertainment. Evander Holyfield brought the package. Mike Tyson brought the package. Lennox Lewis just was stand-up box. Lennox was bagging in big money at them times because he's a heavyweight. He was a heavyweight champion of the world. Of course, he'd be bagging in big money. But he wasn't Bruno. But Bruno couldn't beat the top guys. Lennox could beat the top guys, but Lennox never sold in the same way. You know what I mean? So I think people got a short memory when they talk about Lennox Lewis. I love Lennox, don't get me wrong. He was one of my favorite fighters to watch, but at the same time, you know, pay-per-view, don't know. His pay-per-view fights, Holyfield, Tyson, was because those two guys were the pay-per-views, Holyfield and Tyson. So Lennox, I don't know about that. Sky aren't renewing contract. Why are we not surprised? The whole hype room has been a mess. From the how many guys from the contract they had with Sky? How many guys can you say have been genuine pay-per-view stars? From the time they got the deal with Sky to now, how many of those guys are pay-per-view stars? Come and talk to me. Oh, he's done a great job. He's done a fantastic job. He's a great promoter. Okay, apples and pears and all the rest of it, and all the talking and all the interviews and all the stuff. How many genuine pay-per-view stars have you produced in that contract? Name them. Name all the pay-per-view stars. Come on. I want to hear all these great pay-per-view stars. I don't talk to him about, he signed some fighters. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about the British fighters that he's had, that he's turned and converted into pay-per-view stars. How many pay-per-view stars has been created? Do not mention Anthony Joshua. Let's go. Carl Froch. Fight willing. Yeah, put Froch to one side. Next. From time to time, Lennox used to raise hell with his power, especially the uppercut. But most of the time, he used to switch off in the mid rounds. Thank you, Bob, for saying that. Bellew, LOL. Okay, yeah, Bellew. If you want to call him a pay-per-view star. Bellew's pay-per-view came off to handicap David Haye. That's it. Bellew's record. And remember, I always said that Bellew was good enough to become a world champion. He became a world champion. When a lot of people said he wouldn't, I backed Bellew to become a world champion. In fact, I think I told him when I did the interview with him, I thought he'd become a world champion. He had the tools to become a world champion. And he became a world champion. Say what you want about Tony Bellew, he still became WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Say what you want about he never beat a champion. He's still WBC champion. So, laugh about Bellew, still pay-per-view. And he got pay-per-view based on the... And, he did it the right way. He did it the right way. British, was it European, world, did it the right way. So, and he came for some tough fights. He had some tough fights. The Chilembe fight, Remember when he fought, yeah, he did well, Bellew. Fair play. Fracture Warrior, can't dismiss that, and he never and he overachieved with Bellew. I love Andre Ward, that's my boy. I love Ward. Ward's a class act. He could box, he could punch, he had everything there, Ward. And truly should have been a global superstar, but his publicist was a shit. And that's my personal opinion. Publicist was shit. And she could have made Ward, she could have done so much more for Ward, I felt. But she held Ward back. That might have been Ward's fault. But I just think that Ward could have been so much more. So much more. So much more. So, again, people talk to me. They say, oh, you hate Matchroom. I don't hate Matchroom. I just can see for the BS. How many guys, come on, Ruben, how many guys through the Matchroom contract have been gone on to be pay-per-view stars, crossover stars? Yeah, he beat Makabu. Fair enough, became world champion beating Makabu. Come on, Ruben, you're not answering the question because you're a Matchroom man. We know you're a Matchroom man. So tell me, how many? Okay, name the stars that have been the British stars that have actually gone on and done something outside of UK. How many of the guys that you've talked about? Yeah, LOL thinking. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. You look under when Warren was around. Look at the guys Warren had back in the day. Ben, Hamed, Calzaghe. Look at Calzaghe. He crossed over and fought Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins. Look at Hamed. How many times he was jumping over to America? Khan. The one guy who hasn't crossed over and done the stuff. Well, Billy Joe Saunders went over to America, didn't he? He fought, what's his name? Yeah, Saunders' career is not complete for me. White. Dillian. So you're going to tell me that Dillian White, who's not even a world champion, pay-per-view. Really? Is that the best you can come up with, Dillian White? And that's no disrespect to Dillian White now. That's the best you in how many years Matchroom's been on Sky? That's the best you can come up with, Dillian White. A guy that got beat by Anthony Joshua. That's the best you can come up with. Come on, guys. Who else out of that from the next gen to now, over that period, have gone on? Kell Brook, you bring the name up, Kell Brook. What did he do in the welterweight? Got beat by Errol Spencer, got smashed by Golovkin. Next, the question is, in the time that Matchroom have had a contract with Sky, how many British guys that they had have gone on to do things abroad and become pay-per-view stars? Name them. Bijo would be huge if he got the Canelo fight and won. Callum can be if he fight. I'm not asking what he can be. And Ruben, I forget to remind you that John Ryder beat Callum Smith, which I told you would do. So again, don't talk about now Callum Smith. Callum Smith was beaten by John Ryder. Let's get it right. Comprehensively, convincingly beat by John Ryder. But John Ryder's face does not fit. John Ryder's face doesn't fit the mark. Well, I told you John Ryder would expose him. Callum Smith cannot fight off the ropes. I've told you that before. Callum Smith can only win fights in the step of the ring. If any of them American guys step to Callum Smith and put him in the ropes, they're going to beat him up against the ropes. Forget Callum Smith. I like Callum Smith. I love Callum Smith. Smith's a guy. I like the person. I like the way he walks. You know what I mean? He's got something about him. I like Callum Smith. But personality-wise, my God, he's got really no personality, Callum Smith. and he's limited. But I like Callum Smith. He's one of my favourite UK fighters. But he's limited. 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 And he's world champion. Well, you never fought Larube, you never fought, what's his name? Jurgen Bremer. That was a fight I'd like to see him fight. I'd like to see how he handled Jurgen Bremer. I would like to see how he handled George Gold without the injury. I'd even like to see a fight I'd like to see Callum Smith versus Eubank Jr. So again, nobody in the room is answering the question. Who in the Matchroom era has gone on and done big things pay-per-view from next gen to pay-per-view star? Name them. I'm still waiting, ladies and gentlemen. So we can look at Frank Warren and Fury, and we can look at Mick Hennessy. Mick Hennessy took Fury. Nobody's talking about Mick Hennessy, by the way. Nobody's talking about Mick Hennessy. Mick Hennessy had all of them. Froch, Eubank, Jr. Yeah, Fury, both of them. Clever beat Bremer, retired him. Yeah, at that time, Bremer was finished by that time, man. Come on. Bremer was done by the time Cleverly fought him. Consensus seems to be that we have the talent in UK boxing, but it's being misled. What can change, though? Stop lying to the public. That would be the first thing. Stop lying to the public. Stop telling people that there's something that they're not. Stop lying. The dark chuckers don't know the difference between a good fighter, a great fighter, and a hype job. Stop lying to the public. Stop the lying. Stop lying. Stop telling people that people are world class when they're not world class. Stop trying to make people into pay-per-views that can't handle it because they can't fight. Stop it. Stop pampering certain fighters as well. Guys walking around with tracksuits and trainers and looking the part with the clothes and the Instagram and the interviews, but can't win a belt. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Listen, if you have more 50-50 fights, more fighters are going to get exposed. You see what happened when you got a 50-50 fight? That was Fowler and Fitzgerald. What happened? Disaster. Because Fowler was going to be the next Froch, remember? Oh, yeah, he fights a bit like Froch, Fowler. Yeah, he's got the same sort of similar style, hands down by the side, blah, 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 blah. Look what happened now. Yeah, I like Isaac Chamberlain. I think Isaac Chamberlain would do really good with the American trainer. I think Isaac Chamberlain could come again. I got a lot of hope. I think Isaac Chamberlain could become a world champion. There's a couple, I suppose, but you can tear everyone apart with a critical eye. Everyone has flaws. Who's your top 5 pound for pound? Where? In the UK or America? Top 5 pound for pound. So Canelo would be up there. Pacquiao would be up there. Canelo, Pacquiao. Fury. I'm talking about achievements now. Fury, Pacquiao, Canelo. Yeah, of course. Of course, Pac-Man still. Pac-Man just beat Thurman, who was in a pound for pound. He beat Broner. So Pac-Man would be up there. I'm just talking in terms of legacy and record. Pacquiao's going to be my top 5. Absolutely. All of Fame, great you're looking at there in Pacquiao. Definitely. I can't put Errol Spence above Pacquiao. I can't put Porter up there ahead of Pacquiao. Usyk, Crawford, Lomachenko. There we go. There we go. Pacquiao, Crawford, Usyk, Fury, Pacquiao. 5. Yeah, Inouye. Yeah, okay. You can put Inouye there if you want to put Inouye. Yeah, Inouye can go up there as well. Definitely. But you're asking my personal top 5 in terms of what I like. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Inouye. Inouye's a great fighter, but those are my guys. Like achievement wise, I'm not saying nothing's wrong with anything's wrong with Inouye. But Fury, I consider him undisputed champion. Crawford was undisputed champion in a low weight division. Usyk, undisputed champion in a low weight. Pacquiao, numerous world champions, fought in different weight divisions, and has beaten some Hall of Fame as well in that. Who else I put? And Lomachenko in terms of what he's doing so far. So yeah, but you could put those are my 5. But back to my point, there's only a couple, but we're talking about how we're going to find the next pay-per-view star in the UK. How are we going to go about it? Again, so let's have a think about it. How are you going to change it? People haven't got an answer to it. So that's my point. Our next pay-per-view star is probably going to come possibly for the next Olympics, or when was our Olympics? They got cancelled, didn't it? So hard when you think they have to be global. Well, it gives you, when you talk about global, then we have a real, then you have a real sense of value as to who this guy is. Okay. Lomachenko, Usyk, Crawford, Canelo, Pacquiao, any order? Canelo. Good question. Order. Crawford would be my. It's going to be between Usyk and Canelo for my number 1. And I'm gonna go towards. I'm gonna lean towards Canelo because he's moved up in weight. So Canelo's my number 1 pound for pound. Canelo's my pound for pound. I'm showing you the logic of why I picked Canelo to be my number 1. Number 2 is between Crawford and Usyk. The question: can Pac-Man beat Crawford? That's the question. Is Pac-Man good enough to beat Crawford? Because then, if Pac-Man can beat Crawford, then that moves things up even more so. Can Pac-Man beat Lomachenko? You know, both at lightweight. Could Pac-Man beat Lomachenko? That's another question there. So Canelo 1. Usyk 2. And I'm only saying that because of the World Super Series and the quality of opposition he fought for the World Super Series. So Usyk would be 2. Would I pick Pac-Man over Spence? Yeah, I would. I would pick Pac-Man over Spence. Because, yeah, Spence is a body puncher, but Spence is too flat-footed. He gets hit too easily. And I just think that Pacquiao's speed would overwhelm Spence. I really do. I don't know about now, it's that age thing, but I think Pacquiao's footwork, his punching power, his ring IQ. Yeah, Spence has to plant his feet to land them shots. And I don't think Spence is that dynamic. I mean, look at Mikey Garcia. His fight against Mikey Garcia. He hit Mikey Garcia with a kitchen sink and he couldn't move Mikey Garcia. And Mikey Garcia can't box. He can't move like Pacquiao can. And he can't punch like Pacquiao. So I would pick Spence over Pacquiao. I mean, I'd pick Pacquiao over Spence. So it's a toss between Usyk and Crawford for my number 2. Then Pacquiao comes into it. So I'm going to go with Pacquiao 2. Usyk 3. Crawford 4. Lomachenko 5. Why? Well, I think Canelo number 1. Pacquiao 2, because I think Pacquiao can beat Crawford. And legacy, I think Pacquiao's going to be. Pacquiao may go down a better fighter than Crawford, I think, because of the sort of all the guys Pacquiao fought moving up in weight. So I'd say Pacquiao. If you had Crawford style, you had Pacquiao style. You would go pound for pound. I'd go Pacquiao style more so. Usyk and Crawford. I go Usyk because of Usyk what he did undisputed cruiserweight champion and the way he went about it, going in other people's backyards to become champion. So I'm gonna give Usyk those props higher than Crawford. And Lomachenko is 5th because his best win to this date has to be against Rigondeaux, who came up 2 weight divisions. For me, that's his best win, not Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell. So Rigondeaux would be his best win because if you check Rigondeaux, he beat Donaire. So yeah, so Lomachenko's best win was against the guy who came up 2 weight divisions. So Lomachenko's 5th on the list for me. I was having a debate with someone on the definition of pound for pound. Most US fans think it shouldn't include heavyweights. Do you not agree? I definitely don't. Linares' win was decent. Linares has been knocked out before. Don't go back to Linares' thing was decent. You just want to hear, look. So who's Linares? When it's all said and done, who's Linares? A good fighter, but I don't say, wow, Linares is fighting tonight. Let me tune in. It's not like that. Linares can fight tomorrow night. I don't give a damn. So Linares doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. Doesn't do it for me. So Fury was in my top 5, wasn't he? So wait, hold on. So Lomachenko's out. Sorry, Lomachenko's gone. Bye, Lomachenko. Fury comes in at 5. Fury's in my top 5 because Fury's beaten 2 current Hall of Fame champions. Wilder's going to go down as Hall of Fame for his knockout records and title defenses, and so will Klitschko go down for title defenses. So yeah, so bye-bye Lomachenko. So what? Are you trying to tell me that Lomachenko's achieved more than Tyson Fury? Are you trying to tell me he's achieved more than Pacquiao? Are you trying to tell me he's achieved more than Usyk? Are you telling me he's achieved more than Crawford? All the guys I've talked about there have been undisputed. And Pacquiao's fought better opposition than Lomachenko. So where does Lomachenko fit into top 5? He just doesn't. He doesn't. No matter what Bob Arum wants to tell you or whatever he wants to tell about Lomachenko's this and Lomachenko's that, Lomachenko. No, sorry. It is what it is. I'm not trying to be funny here. You give people the props where it is. Lomachenko's not undisputed. Who's his best win? I forget and a lot. You talk about Linares fight. You forget Linares dropped Lomachenko. You forget Linares faded. Linares dropped Lomachenko. Okay, let Lopez catch. Let Lopez catch Lomachenko with them same punches. We're gonna see if Luke Campbell's able to hurt Lomachenko to the body. Wait until Lopez gets hold of him. Wait, it's coming. It's coming. So yeah. So how are we going to build our next British superstar then, people? Has anyone decided how we're going to build our next British superstar? So okay, Ruben, you tell me. You say wow, but you tell me. You tell me how Lomachenko tops those guys I've mentioned. How does he top those guys I've mentioned? In terms of achievements. He doesn't top Crawford's achievements. He doesn't top Usyk's achievements. He doesn't top Pacquiao's achievements. He certainly don't top Canelo's achievements. And he don't top Fury's achievements. So where are you putting Lomachenko? Where are you fitting him in? Yeah. What about Adrian Broner? He was 3-weight world champion so fast as well. So what? Adrian Broner was a 3-weight world champion, was he not? And what? And okay, 3-weight world champion. Who are the three guys that Lomachenko beat to become world champion? And don't box wreck it. Name me the 3 guys that Lomachenko beat to be world champion. Do not box wreck it. Tell me. And if you can't tell me off the top of your head, I don't know the 3 guys Lomachenko beat to be world champion. I don't know them. Sorry, I can't remember offhand. I'd have to box wreck that shit. I'd have to box wreck that shit. So, no. So, undisputed? No. Has he beat? Yeah, no, he doesn't. What about the best US prospect in a decade? Gerard Anderson. What do you think? Best US prospect in a decade? I've never seen Gerard Anderson fight. But I think Rashid Ellis, I don't know what happened to him, but Rashid Ellis, he signed with Golden Boy. He was a great prospect. He's #1 amateur in America. Rashid Ellis. Don't know what the hell happened to him. Fastest hands in the West. Yeah. Lakvinder said that the next UK superstar is coming from a man born of his mother. See, Fury now has got pay-per-view, but he's got crossover ability. Fury's got crossover ability because you've seen now. Ryan Garcia, oh my god. Boots Ennis. Where did you all learn about Boots Ennis? Where did they talk about Boots Ennis? Where did you learn about Boots Ennis? Where did you learn about Boots Ennis, Guerrero? Where did you learn from Boots Ennis? Was it not on BWTM Sports that you learned about Boots Ennis? Huh? When everybody was ignoring Boots Ennis. We were talking to Boots Ennis. Now look. Ryan Garcia is, I'm going to say, a hype job. I'm going to say Ryan Garcia is a freaking hype job. And the minute somebody puts some level on that chin of his, you're going to find out he's a hype job. You know how Ryan Garcia end up? He'll end up like, what's that boy's name? Victor Ortiz. That's how Ryan Garcia is going to end up, like Victor Ortiz. Remember Victor Ortiz knocking these people out and saying, yeah, Ortiz is a bad man. Ortiz is this. And then he came against Marcus Maidana and checked that chin of his. Wait, it's going to be kind of like a Marcus Maidana type of guy that's going to end the Ryan Garcia. Of course, I'm on the podcast. I know my boxing, Ruben. You know my boxing. And there's another guy. There's about 3 guys that I interviewed that night when I did. Do you all remember when I did the Evander Holyfield night? When at the end of the night, I interviewed Evander Holyfield. I interviewed all of the people from his team. I interviewed a guy called Belanga. Watch out for Belanga. He's a top fighter. You've got Big Time Biggs. You've got him as well. There are two guys you got to watch out for. Big Time Biggs and Belanga. Belanga's been knocking a few guys out for top rank now. Look out for, I think it's Edgar Belanga. Edgar Belanga. So I've pulled out a new name now, and he's been on BWTM Sports. So there's my guy to look out for. Would love BWTM to interview Eddie. I have interviewed Eddie Hearn, and you can go and check out the interview. Type in BWTM Sports Eddie Hearn, and you listen to the interview I did with Eddie Hearn back then, and check out that interview I did with Eddie and what I predicted would happen at the time when I was talking to Eddie, when I was asking him about Al Heyman coming to the UK. Al Heyman can't get a TV deal, blah, 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 blah. Are you throwing Kell Brook under the bus? He was so uncomfortable in the interview. Go and look at the interview. It's on there. By the way, Leif, if you could go and check out that, because I know Eddie regrets doing an interview with me. He does up to today. He doesn't like it. So go out there and you can get that interview. I did an interview with him. I did an interview with Michelle Joy Phelps as well. So you can check out the interview I did with Michelle Joy Phelps and Eddie Hearn. So you could those are two interviews you should check out when you get a chance, Leif. In fact, I might repost them out there. Virgil Ortiz looks the goods too. I don't trust your eyes, Ruben. I don't trust your eyes. Thank you, Leif. And thank you so much for all the work you do, Leif, on BWTM Sports and BWTM Online. And I got some great news for you, my friend. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, we will be back online with BWTM Online. The site has been updated for 2020. We've got a 2020 theme that's been updated. So it's going to be good. It's going to have a lot more bells and whistles on it. So I can't wait. The BWTM team have been working on it for the last week or so to get the theme together. So turn you onto Joyce, bro. Yeah, but you remember at first I wasn't a big fan of Joe Joyce. But there's things I've seen about Joe Joyce now that makes me believe that if you can get any of the top heavyweights with their back against the ropes, that's the way Joyce will win his fights. Joyce has to have you. Joyce is like the British George Foreman. I keep saying it. He's the British George Foreman. Joyce is the British George Foreman. He just comes forward with big clean punches, not the fastest in the world. But if Foreman gets you against the ropes and start landing them big punches on you, you're in trouble. That's Joyce's best way of winning. Get you against the ropes. That's why I think he'll knock Dubois. His back against the ropes. If Dubois' back touches the ropes against Joe Joyce, he knocks Joe Joyce out. If Daniel Dubois is going to beat Joe Joyce, he has to beat him in the center of the ring. As soon as Joe Joyce pushes Dubois back, end of the fight. I said the same thing about Josh Taylor when he fought, what's his boy's name? Ohara Davis. Yep. So Gerard Big Baby Anderson. I'll have a look at this Gerard Big Baby Anderson. I had Sugar Shay Mosley's dad add me on Facebook today, so that'll be interesting. I've got a whole heap of interviews to do. I've still got to catch up with Stavern. I just so exhausted doing these interviews. Right. Ohara had a sellable personality. Did he? Really? I don't know, mate. Something's wrong with your TV set, mate. But if you think his personality was sellable, the whole Liverpool thing, I don't know about that, mate. I don't know if he's that sellable. You know, there's some people that you love to hate, and he was one of those guys, unfortunately, that his boast weren't as good as the actual fighting ability. He could punch, but I think he needed some guidance. Ohara Davis. He needed more guidance. Nobody's still come up with a pay-per-view star. Right, I'm going to give you a couple of guys in the UK who I think could be pay-per-view stars. Josh Taylor, I think he could be a pay-per-view star. But with the right fights, and he has to move up to 147. And the big question with Josh Taylor at 147 is he strong enough to fight guys who are training from middleweight down to welterweight? That's one. So I expect Josh Taylor to go on to a pay-per-view in America because I think he'd be good. Who else in the UK? I really would like to see Galahad. No. Galahad. No. 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 Sorry. Being a good boxer isn't enough to be pay-per-view. You have to be able to sell. You have to have the personality. You have to be able to sell. Yeah, is he sellable? He can box, but that's it. You have to sell. You have to be a ticket seller. So, are you a hero or are you a villain? Which role are you playing? Which role is Galahad playing? So no, not Galahad. No, Taylor. He's got the goods. He fought in the World Boxing Super Series. He fought against one of the best Americans out there, and he was being hyped to something special, and he beat him. So Taylor, he is ready for pay-per-view. Taylor, and Josh Taylor can carry that pay-per-view. Right, throw some names at me, and I'll tell you if they can be who I think would be pay-per-view. Conor Benn, can he be pay-per-view? I think he's improving. Don't think he'll ever be as good as his dad. I like Conor. I've met him. Real nice, likable type of guy. Like him. But can he be pay-per-view? Yeah, Mick Conor will be a pay-per-view. He'll be pay-per-view. Well, he's in America. He's got the Irish crowd in America. Yeah, he's gone on the top rank. He's been seen by millions in top rank. Yeah, he'll be pay-per-view. No problems. No worries at Conor. He'll do the numbers. Had his fourth fight the other night. Anderson looks the business. 23 yards, 6'6", built like Dubois and throws every punch in the book. 4-0, 4 KOs, 3 first round KOs. His last was in third. Okay, I'll have a look at him for you, Bob. I'll check him out. I'll check him out, and I'll do a video on him for you. Just for you, I'll do a video dedicated to Anderson. All right. By the way, Anderson's my middle name, so yeah, I'll definitely check him out. Yeah. So there's my first Conor will be pay-per-view. Josh Taylor pay-per-view. Dillian Whyte's already pay-per-view, but Dillian Whyte has a great chance to be a crossover star if he goes to America, gets to fight in America. If he gets a WBC belt, if he gets elevated to becoming WBC world champion, then I think he makes his first defense against Miller in America, New York. Dillian Whyte, Gerald Miller, WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Dillian Whyte makes his first defense against Gerald Miller. That would be a great fight in America. If Dillian Whyte can come through that fight, I would like to see Dillian Whyte potentially call out the UFC champion to come out. What's his name? Francis Ngannou. Bring him over from UFC to boxing and a one fight deal to come over and challenge for the heavyweight championship of the world against Dillian Whyte. There you got your pay-per-view right there. Forget Josh Kelly, he's not pay-per-view. Josh Kelly's not pay-per-view, and Josh Kelly won't become pay-per-view. No. Josh Kelly's not pay-per-view, and he won't be pay-per-view. Ray Robertson exposed Josh Kelly for what he actually is. If he beats Evans and then get Vargas fight, then from there pay-per-view could be no. Okay. Do you think that Josh Kelly can beat Keith Thurman? Do you think Josh Kelly can beat? No, forget Thurman. Do you think Josh Kelly can beat Sean Porter? Do you think Josh Kelly can beat Crawford? Do you think Josh Kelly can beat Pacquiao? See a fight I'd like to see. Josh Kelly against Mikey Garcia. That's a fight I'd make. If Josh Kelly's anything, let him fight Mikey Garcia at welterweight. There's a good fight for you there. There's a fight there. I don't know, Ruben, why you like picking these guys that are just pure average, bang average guys. I swear you love picking bang average guys to get knocked over. Josh Kelly is very lucky that night he didn't suffer a loss to Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson outboxed him, outmaneuvered him, outpunched him, beat him on the outside, beat him on the inside. Josh Kelly's not that great. And that was a night that Josh Kelly, if he was anything special, he'd have had to turn the screw. Joe Calzaghe was special. Because when Joe Calzaghe was in trouble, when he fought Kessler and Kessler started getting on top of him, he made the adjustments. Josh Kelly fights in one pace. He doesn't make the changes. He doesn't make the adjustments. And in this sport, you have to make adjustments. And I don't think Josh Kelly is what everyone's selling him out to be. I'm sorry. It's a pay-per-view. No, I mean, he's a good-looking lad. He's got some style about him, but he thinks he's got an American style, but an American showed him what boxing was about. Kelly versus Brook. Kelly versus Brook. The two Kells. Kell Brook needs to retire. He's boxing with one eye, as far as I'm concerned. He can't see the right hand coming. So I don't want to see Kell Brook fight Josh Kelly. No, I don't want to see that fight. Kell Brook in his prime would have eaten Josh Kelly up. Not big fan for Kelly. No, Josh Kelly is good for you because you're a casual. Because Josh Kelly's got no defense. He's got no defense, and he'll get absolutely hammered at the top level. No defense. So no defense whatsoever. No defense. Could you imagine Josh Kelly leaving himself open like that? Someone like Crawford, or someone like Pacquiao, or someone like Thurman. Imagine Thurman in there whacking Josh Kelly like that. And stop it, man. Okay, Josh Kelly versus Errol Spence. Do you want to see that fight? Come on, man. Then his soul is daring to be great. Come on, man. And I'm not totally sold in Errol Spence. I like Errol Spence. I love Derek James, but I'm not totally sold on Errol Spence being the bogeyman. I don't know what makes him the bogeyman. Because if you're a bogeyman, you have to have beaten a bogeyman. And who's the bogeyman Errol Spence beat? Again, don't know. Don't get it. So, right. Anybody else want to throw up any names from the UK that could be pay-per-view stars? I think Scott Fitzgerald could be a pay-per-view star if they're matching right. Stupid dog. Who do you think legit bogeymans are? Ray Robinson, legit bogeyman. Ray Robinson, legit bogeyman. Hold on. Excuse me a second. So come on, people. British superstar. Mark Hunt, yeah, Bogeyman, definitely. Absolutely. Dillian White's a bogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him. So I call Dillian White a bogeyman. He's the obvious bogeyman. Anybody else? Off topic, what do you think about Terence Crawford saying he won't fight this year if he has to take a pay cut? Well, I think I mentioned this before, Hamza. If you remember me, and I think I did a couple of videos before, guys who got overpaid. Herkovich, oh my god. Is Crawford worth taking a pay cut? Who's Crawford fought in the welterweight division for him to operate? I think that way. Yes, he did great at light welterweight, but a welterweight, who's he fought? Horn, Boxrec pound for pound. Amir Khan, faded. Yes. Oh, okay. So Khan, faded Khan, the Green Machine, who Ray Robinson arguably beat more convincingly. So that's my thoughts on that. I don't think Crawford has capitalized on his position, and I don't think he's fought the best guys around at welterweight. I think he's fought the who are they or who cares? Bud thinks his too big name. He needs to stay active and have his name out there more. That's the people. That's the people that are around Crawford. That's all. A lot of people, the people around Crawford, that don't know what they're doing with Crawford. But you know, that's my opinion. I don't think they know what they're doing with Crawford. Crawford could easily have been in the mix. He could have gone over to PBC and had all that heat. But it's very easy to stay in a corner and say you want to fight this person, that person, and so. And I think Crawford is continuing to just he. If you're trying to build momentum, then Crawford's the opposite of that. His career is spiraling out into oblivion from who wants him, who needs him, who cares about him. That's what's happening with Crawford. So, anyone in British women's boxing who you think could be a future pay-per-view star? The only person I think that's got it there at the moment would be who Peter's working with. That would be Savannah Marshall. Because Savannah Marshall obviously has history with Claressa Shields. I don't know if Savannah Marshall see its personality there. She's a nice girl. I've met Savannah, beautiful girl, really nice to talk to. In fact, I've done a couple of interviews with Savannah Marshall actually. Nice girl, great to talk to. Easy on the eye, got a wonderful smile. But I don't know if when you say Savannah Marshall, I mean the girl can fight. I've seen her sparring up close. I don't know if Savannah Marshall has got she's a likable girl. I don't know if likable like Claressa Shields, she's got the mouth, she talks the talk. And you've got like you look at someone like the undisputed champion, the lady herself, what's her name? Cecilia Brækhus. Oh, beautiful. Love Cecilia Brækhus for years. Undisputed. Who cares? Who cares about Cecilia? No, definitely not Chantel Cameron. Absolutely not. No way. No chance. Chantel Cameron's been on our channel years. Lots of interviews with Chantel Cameron, but I think No, I don't think Chantel will be a pay-per-view star. Sorry, in a nutshell, no. I think that um, the other girls you're talking about has got a better chance of being a pay-per-view star. Savannah Marshall's got a better chance of being a pay-per-view star. Shannon Courtney, no. Come on, stop it. Savannah Marshall is the real. Savannah Marshall's is good. She's good. She goes through the gears and she just does it with ease. I like Savannah Marshall. Class. I like her. She's a likable girl. She can fight. Yeah, I like her. A shame about Nicola Adams, really, because I thought Nicola Adams was doing some good things as well, but is what it is. But I like Savannah Marshall. I wish her all the best in her challenge to being like heavyweight champion of the world. I like Harper. Yeah, Harper's done well for herself. Yeah, because a lot of people didn't think Harper would do it. So Harper's like a rags to riches story there. So yeah, it's Terry Harper, isn't it? Shout out to Terry Harper. Yeah, wicked. Yeah. Girl did good. Shout out to Terry Harper. I don't know. I like Savannah Marshall. So yeah, I've met her personally, and I've seen her work ethic. But look, you tell me if I didn't call it right. Remember when Jessica McCaskill got beat by Katie Taylor, and I thought McCaskill won that fight? I said McCaskill's going to go on to become a world champion. Now McCaskill's going to be in a super fight against Cecilia Brækhus, and she could beat Brækhus because of age. But look at her, unified champion, moved up in weight, became a unified champion in Jessica McCaskill. She's a top girl, punches hard, loves a fight, can box, great personality. That's my girl. When you're talking about women boxing, love Jessica McCaskill, love her, lovely personality, great on the eye, very articulate, easy to work with, great work rate, great manager in Rick Ramos and trainer. Rick Ramos and her work together. Rick Ramos knows boxing. He knew. Look, see, Jessica's moving up in weight to fight the best girl in the division. She moved up. So yeah, Jessica McCaskill. Who from Warren Stable can do big things? Obviously, Dubois and Yard. Well, I don't think it's obvious Dubois. I think Joe Joyce is a dangerous opposition. He's got the Olympic pedigree or the World Boxing Super Series pedigree. He's fought good opposition. He's mature. He's dangerous, Joe Joyce. I keep saying he's dangerous. What do you think of Frank Warren's comment regarding Dillian Whyte not getting the fights he thinks he deserves? No brainer, really. Do you think that Dillian Whyte would have had to wait so long for a world title shot under Frank Warren? That's the question. And I said already, Dillian Whyte should have left Hearn ages ago. But the thing with staying with Matchroom is he gets those pay-per-view fights. And he gets paid on time, so they say. I love Frank. I've always loved Frank Warren. I love Frank Warren. I've met Frank on a number of occasions, and I like Frank Warren. I just like the way Frank is. Frank might not have all those lavish press conferences, but I just like dealing with Frank Warren. I like dealing with a man, and I like. Financially, I don't know what Frank does. It's not my business, but I like when you talk about boxing, and you talk about the art of boxing, and you talk about the science of boxing, and you talk about matchmaking, and you talk about building a guy from nothing to a champion. Frank Warren's my man. Frank Warren knows what he's talking about. Liam Williams, oh God, Liam Williams is not going to be a pay-per-view star. I'm sorry. Liam Williams is a good fighter, but he's not a pay-per-view star and doesn't beat Andrade. So stop that now. He doesn't beat Andrade. So that's it. Conversation closed on that one. It's just, man, I love Frank. I just love Frank. Love how Frank does things. You understand? I love how Frank does things. Love how Frank does things. You know, it's a guy that's brought us a lot of world champions. And you look at the history with Frank Warren, the sort of guys that came through the Warren stable, Hamid, Ben. You just look from, I think Collins we had as well, Reed, Kawasaki. Come on, man. They were all pay-per-view stars in their own rights. You know, Ben and Eubank, great fight. Shout out to Frank Warren, man. Shout out to Frank Warren. People have got a short memory about what Frank Warren's done. Frank Warren may be second place in terms of what the British public want today. A blagger, which is what I think the other guy is. I think he's a blagger. But Warren is the real deal. Warren's the real deal. Warren's proven he knows how to take a guy from nothing to champion. Warren is the real deal. The real deal in boxing. Yeah, because he knows how to build a fighter. Look what he did with Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was no Olympic gold medalist. He took Ricky Hatton from where he was to world champion, and he put him against Costa Tszyu. If it was Eddie Hearn, he would have stuck in Ricky Hatton against Costa Tszyu when he first, the day he won that WBU title. The next fight he'd been saying, daring to be great against Costa Tszyu, and he got smashed to bits. Hatton. Frank Warren knows, for the most part, when to pick the right time to pick a fight. This one with Dubois and Joyce, I don't know about that one, but I guess whoever it is, Warren can't lose. So yeah, I like Warren's I like Warren substance. He knows boxing. He's not a he knows boxing. Right. I think I'm gonna leave it right there, unless there's something else we can talk about. So I've got to look at this guy Gerard Anderson. I'm gonna have a look at him now. Laurent Williams, Omar Siddiqui. Check out Omar Siddiqui. Again, another guy that's on the BWTM channel. Check out the interview we've done with Omar Siddiqui. Yeah. Leof, check out a few other interviews you check out. I did check out the Carson Jones series. That was really good. Check out the Carson Jones series. Check out the Fury series I did with Peter Fury when Hugh was preparing to fight for the British title against Sam Sexton. That was quite a good mini doc as well. Check that out as well. Right, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all for watching as always. Appreciate you. We still are struggling to find a British pay-per-view fighter. For all we talk tonight, how many British pay-per-view fighters? And I asked the question, how many fighters in that matchroom period under Sky from next gen to world champion, how many of them have gone to be pay-per-view stars? And ultimately, it's pay-per-view that really brings in the money for Sky. So you tell me. I'm out of here. Have a great night. $104 minutes, no answers, indeed.